we haven't talked about an important aspect of this in flushing, and that had been sort of as needed before. But I'd like to know if there would be a monthly flushing, a schedule for flushing, and the need for chlorine becomes less as a result of this. Can we talk about that? Flushing the system is part of all municipalities.
It's true, and one of the things we're doing and actively doing is trying to get our gate valves so we can actually flush the system. We don't know where all the
It used to be done.
Well, it used to be done partially.
That's
How did you hear that it used to be done here?
They use the hydrants.
Use the hydrant.
Hydrants.
How did you get that information? I mean, because I'm not aware of a flushing program that ever took place here. There is
But both
a
Scott
difference.
or Steve
There is a
McDowell talked
difference.
about it when I was on the board when they were
There is a
managing
difference.
it. They were flushing the system because a lot of the hydrants sit, you know, in places where it could pull water out of the cul-de-sacs, which is where it tends to back up and accumulate the bacteria.
Yeah, absolutely. And so those are dead ends, and those can be flushed. From what I understand, we have never had a flushing program. From what I understand, it's always been as needed.
It's
From
about
what
time.
I understand, I agree with you, Dee, and I would be happy to implement a flushing program. It's going to cost a lot of money,
Why don't we just
and
use the
so
hydrants?
well, that's what you do use. You use the
Why does it
hydrants.
cost a lot of money? I don't understand why that would cost a lot of money.
Well, there's a couple different kinds of flushing. We can just open up a hydrant. Typically what you're going to experience is a degradation of your water quality if we just open up a hydrant, because it's going to stir up all of the sediment that's in the pipeline.
That's the point.
That's so you're going to get a cup of water that's dark.
Not
And
me.
Lisa's had this experience.
Right.
So if it's not done very precisely and a very well thought out, planned, systematic way, then the result is a reduction in water quality. So
But it's a temporary reduction because
It-
it has come back. I mean, that is
if you
part
said-
of
if
the
you
typical
said that
municipal plan is that they notify people that for the next 24 or 48 hours they're going to be flushing the system, to be aware of that, or if there's a potential health hazard, to boil your water, or take
But,
caution
I mean, I
to
think-
children, or
We do want a flushing program, we're working on that, but it does not detract from the fact we still need to put chlorine in those waters, however much flushing we do. And they had a very good flushing system in San Luis, but they still got bacteria in their pipes.
so we're not saying do it in
Exceeding.
exchange for the chlorine.
No, but I'm
Or
saying-
as a means of being able to
Yeah, but
reduce
if
the
this-
amount of chlorine.
Well, the reduction of chlorine is that we have a minimum state mandate.
Point two.
Point
Which
two,
we're not
which
at.
we-
At the source.
We are at the.
No, he
we're
said
not.
0.3.
Well, the point three
And it's
four at the
coming in
source,
higher,
but
too.
0.2 at the furthest.
No, it's a
No,
trace
no,
at the
It's
furthest.
Trace.
It's a trace at the
I thought it's
furthest.
got to be 0.2 at the
That's
furthest.
what even what it says in his report.
Coconuts.
Thanks, Oliver. Bye, Oliver.
I believe you said that you put in 0.34 as a buffer, right?
Point three.
Or 0.3, I'm sorry.
we are now at 0.3.
Right. Are there hopes to try to even go down?
No.
Or not.
I mean, we're talking about 1/10 of a milligram. Such a minute amount that I don't think that's worth risking not having adequate disinfection at the far end of the system. Now, there are some options, but those are going to cost money too, and we can do booster chlorination at various places throughout the system. I would be happy to implement that. I will work at your discretion. And if you want a flushing program, I'm happy to give you a flushing program.
That's right. The
Happy
board
to.
has to allocate the funds.
More than happy to give you a flushing program, chlorine boosting, whatever it is that you want, but it has to be paid for. We are living on the edge financially.
Right.
We're doing everything we can to keep this system operational right now. And we are stressed financially. And so if you want more, I'm happy to implement it. I think that it would be great to have a flushing program. Absolutely. I've taken initial first steps. We have all of the gate valves GPSed. So that was a huge step. The next step,
So now you'll know where they're at.
we know where they are at. And so the ideal, the industry standard for flushing today is that it's high velocity. And so what you do is you shut certain valves, you open other valves, and you use precise locations of fire hydrants. And what you do is you try to increase the velocity of the water so that it scours and it doesn't just stir up the sediment. Because we can flush, but you won't be happy. No one will be happy with that result. Because, and it doesn't matter how much public, advertising we do and warning of customers, they're still going to be upset when they're getting cloudy water at their sink.
Which
Dean, did you have something to say?
Well, why don't you submit a proposal to the board that we have,
I will, at the board's discretion.
and that's what
Or
I'm
direction,
suggesting, that
absolutely.
we already have a need, we
Well,
have,
Dean,
we have a desire.
What you're not understanding is that we're already working towards this solution. We've been working on it for
But we've been
a
talking
year and a
about
half.
it for, exactly, that's what we've been talking about.
Well, it takes
And I would
money,
like-
Dean. It takes
Well,
money.
this is a clarification, isn't it, about priorities and where distribution of the finances are going.
It may be. It may be.
That's why I think a proposal would be, I'm not speaking to the board, I'm just saying that we already have a need. We have a means of doing so, so let's go about
Well, I
it.
mean, I don't think you understood quite what he was saying. We may flush the pipes, but we can't do a high velocity flush, so we're not really flushing the system. We're running water down the system.
That has to be evaluated, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
That's what a proposal is for.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the table. We're
Yeah.
working it
So-
right now.
I think the board understands the concern, and rather than continue with the point and counterpoint debate, I would recommend that we move on at this point, let the board decide how to move forward with this issue.
Well, just want to make one statement is that obviously the community is still concerned about the chlorine levels.
I
Okay?
think we're clear
So
on
we're
that.
we're
Are we
asking the
gonna-
board to take whatever steps necessary to make that the minimum at the tap.
And that would include, if that included raising water prices, you would be in favor?
Raising water prices.
Yeah.
That's
It's not
another
that
issue.
simple. It's not that simple.
Well, I mean, it is the issue, it costs money if that's what the board decides they want to, or does the community want to raise rates?
After everything's looked at, if, it seems to me, just as a personal opinion, that this district is spending a whole lot of money, and there's probably ways that things could be done a little bit more economically, and I'd certainly be in favor of that. I don't think that there's always one answer to a problem. There's many answers,
We would agree.
and some of them cost more than others.
Right, I think we understand the issue at this
Yeah.
point. We
Yeah.
really should.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is the board in favor of moving on at this point?
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Summer
item
employees.
F, or item E, discuss summer employees. So, I would like to, and I've already spoken with AJ about this, I would like to have 3 temporary employees. One would be Chris Botts, he's already been trained for fire hydrant maintenance. He typically comes in, starts about May 15th, we've already started him this year. He would work through September usually, and what he does is he goes through and he maintains the fire hydrants, the 277 fire hydrants. That's a very critical, important process, so I strongly recommend that we continue it. I would like to also get authorization for Zach Potter to come back and complete the GPS work. There's, several dozen valves that still need to be located and approximately 600 manholes that need to be located and input into the GPS system.
Right, he did such a good job last year.
He did an outstanding job, and we will only require one person for that. And then I would like to recommend that we get another full-time employee, temporary, seasonal employee for jetting the collection system. AJ has the numbers on target rates that we're going to try to pay, and if you choose to do that work, it certainly does need to be done. As a response to the flushing, if you would like to also authorize 2 additional operators for flushing, we could put 2 guys on that too. Pretty much.
I think we need to look at the flushing program and understand the labor requirement. I mean,
But I'm just saying that it is, the work is there.
Oh, I agree.
If you want to authorize the implementation of that work to be done,
Right.
it's
So these, the temporary help that you've identified a need for is to GPS the valves so that you can locate
valves and manholes,
and
vast
manholes in
majority
the
is
system.
manholes.
And it's for fire hydrant maintenance, which of course is of utmost importance. And what was
Cleaning the collection system with the new jetter.
Okay.
So we'll need one temporary guy, and then we'll use, I'm thinking to use Scott. They'll go to a 410 week because it takes a lot of time to get the Vector out, get it warmed up, get it set up, and so we don't want them working 8-hour days because their efficiency will be low. So we can get a lot more done in 4 10-hour days, and so I need one guy to work with Scott on that.
I need a little more description. What exactly, jetting system for?
So that's using the new
Yeah, I know
the new
about
jetter.
that, yeah.
And so
where do you
what
put that?
is the standard is that our target would be to try to clean out approximately 12 miles of system per year. So we have 48 miles of sewage system.
Okay.
And so what you
Alright,
do is
thanks.
you go to the manhole, you lift that up,
Yeah.
you stick the jetting rod down into the sewer main, you clean that out and then suck out all of the debris and gravel and crap that's in there that prevents it from flowing freely.
Okay.
You make an inspection on the manhole,
Yeah.
clean up any debris that's stuck in the manhole, rocks, that type of thing.
Okay.
And that's something that we're well positioned to do. We have the equipment. It
Right.
doesn't require engineering or hydraulic model.
Where did we put all of that debris?
That's a good question, Vicki. For now, because we don't have a storage place for the salt, or a treatment setup for the solids, what
Right.
we'll do is we'll dump the liquid
Right.
into the treatment plant,
Okay.
and then all of the solids we'll have to store at some location down at the Aspen treatment plant, and it would be a biosolids at that time.
Steve?
Yes.
If they're not, I suggest when they pop the manholes, they take an invert and add that to your
Absolutely.
database.
Well, that goes into the GPS.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. And actually, there's a form for each one of the manholes, and then you put what you found, the inspection, the depth, that kind of thing.
Okay, and so why would you actually need 2 people? Couldn't the person supporting jetting the system
global position.
do the GPS piece on those manholes and save a position? So
No, the amount of GPS work that's required will take all of that time for that individual just to do the GPSing. So it's a separate project altogether. We could do it slower, but they're 2 different projects. One is GPSing with
no, I understand there too. I was just looking to see how they might be combined into one to save us a little bit of money. It's obviously a summertime employee isn't huge in our budget, but every penny counts.
Well, when it's not huge, but we're pushing the limits of our labor budget. When we add the summer employees. So.
And also the solid waste.
What do you mean we're pushing the limits of our labor budget?
Well, we have some, we've got some room in the labor budget. And when we add the summer employees, that uses up what's left. So, and I've run the numbers, and if we stick to the schedule as Stephen's outlined, we'll be right at the labor budget for the year with the addition of the employees. So, and, you know, I think that's why you budget for it, is so you can get the work done. And, you know, it's a matter of prioritizing what work's going to get done. I think what Stephen's outlined here is extremely important work.
It is.
I mean, it would be my recommendation to approve this summer employment as he's outlined. And to the extent that, you know, a flushing program can be fit into the district's current labor budget this year, I would do it. You know, Stephen's got to look at it and see how this gets done. You know, that's his job, is to figure out how to manage the labor need. And, you know, but we do have a fixed budget that we should work within.
So do we need a motion?
If there's any, yeah, we do.
So it's within the budget that we've programmed, so I make a motion that we approve these summer project employees.